Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Friday, June 9th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the cryptocurrency market, the stock market, metals, the dollar, yields, news, everything as the stock market gets set to open in 8 minutes from right now. Looking over here on the right side of the screen, I see some green over here in the cryptocurrency market. We actually are going to have a green opening over there in the stock market as well. There's going to be kind of a gap up that happens there in the stock market. You got some pretty decent leaders happening there. In particular, you got Tesla and Netflix. Tesla up 6% pre-market. Netflix up 4% pre-market as we get ready for things to open up here in 7 minutes from right now for the U.S. stock market. Crypto green, Bitcoin moving up a little bit here at $26,750. As we know, we tracked this for a couple of months. We got pretty close. Likely, there's a good chance that was good enough there for our low to happen in there. XRP this morning, I think people are probably all paying attention right now, just in this last hour. We've seen a little pop happen for XRP. It's getting back up near the top end of those retracement levels. Come on. Can we get through? That is the big question as we still sit here. We know we've got a ton of stuff going on in crypto and the macroeconomic world. Everything seems to all come to confluence at this June 13th date, that there's all this stuff happening next week. And then June 14th is where we have the FOMC meeting on whether or not we're pausing rate hikes or not. So, man, okay. It's an intense time in crypto right now for sure, especially coming off all the Coinbase and Binance stuff with the SEC this week. Looking at the stock market, currently the Dow Jones is poised to open up 264 points. That's 0.78%, with the NASDAQ set to open up 232 points, which is 1.6%. The S&P is looking to open up 49 points, which is 1.16%. But with the NASDAQ now finally thought to never be possible by all the don't fight the fetters, we are now getting back to retracement levels here for the NASDAQ. So the big question, the big wonder is what will happen here as we get back to these retracements now. As we know, the Dow Jones has been fighting them for over 6 months now. Is it over or is it right at? It's over 6 months. Yeah, it's been over 6 months now that we've been fighting against the retracement level. Still not able to get through for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, but it looks like we're going for another stab at it here in the next week or so, maybe even today. But big step up here for the NASDAQ this morning. Another 1.6% pop to the upside as the rally up in the NASDAQ continues. Again, you got Coinbase up 6%, NVIDIA up 1%, Netflix up 4%, and you have ARK up 2%, and Ford up 1.5%. That's really going to be the biggest movers here on the list. So the bigger one on the list is going to be that Tesla and that Netflix. Yields back up. Yields back in the green again. Metals look a little mixed to down. Pretty flat. So let's pull up gold real quick. There you go. Gold. It's still that big fight we've been fighting for the longest time. What is going to happen? What's the direction of the market choosing here on as these indices go back and reach these retracement levels, on whether or not they're going to get through, and then whether or not gold is going to hold on the upper bound of it, and which one's going into the bull run. We're still waiting for that decision to make itself clear and apparent. But as we start today, you can see a pop over there in XRP. Definitely has everybody's attention. But as we know, we're still there in those retracements, and the fingernail biting persists as we get to next week when the Hinman emails are supposed to be released on the 13th. Whether or not the SEC will file anything that somehow delays it. So that's what that is. As for Bitcoin, still, the question of just waffling around in here for the next couple of months is what the typical behavior is in these types of scenarios, is that we do just waddle around in here for a few months as we get through the summertime. That's just going to be kind of my thoughts of what's going to happen here for Bitcoin currently. But whether or not we could see some altcoins do a little bit in the meantime would be the interesting thing to observe. As for the dollar had a pretty big spill yesterday. So U.S. dollar currency index went and set a new low below that June 2nd low. So getting back down to May 24th. We talked about this. You could see that rolling over in those indicators everywhere. Just the stochastic RSI has lost all of its strength. You have a fall here in the relative strength, and then you have the daily crossover here on the MACD, which is where we fell over. This is as high as we could get in strength in this downtrend back here in March. We rolled over, and then that signaled the return back down to the lows. So we've been doing the same thing here. Gold still holding. So again, everybody's probably gonna be watching this with high intensity. XRP for the rest of today is in this last hour. We've gotten this push right back up here to this top. I see Mr. D posting in chat. Somebody verify that. I'll try to verify it. He said ADA. See, I don't know if that's true, so I'm gonna look that up before I say that in front of thousands of people. Robinhood delistings. Let's see if those are true. Here, I'll just Google it really quick. Because this week has obviously been the insane insanity with the SEC suing Coinbase and suing Binance. Okay, so I see an article. All right, so what people are saying in the chat is they're saying that Robinhood is going to be delisting Solana, Cardano, and Polygon. So what I'm doing is I'm searching for articles to prove that. The first 3 articles that come up here is say Robinhood may delist, and then it says Cardano is among the cryptocurrencies at risk of delistings. But I'm looking for, and then I see Robinhood to consider delisting. But does anybody have evidence of them announcing actual delistings? Because I don't see that yet. Either way, XRP. Yeah, Cardanzo is for sure gone. So, all right, let's check out the news and see what's going on here. So that's what we got. Stock market here. We'll at least watch you open stock market. You open in 1 minute from right now. Let's see. In about 30 seconds, the stock market will open. So we've got, as we get ready for stocks to open, we have the Dow up 250 points, which is about 0.75%. The Nasdaq's the bigger opener at 236, which is 1.6%, with the S&P up 1.18%. A lot of times, right when these things open, that can shuffle around really fast, especially when it's that volatile. So we'll see if it, catches that, and then the bid continues to go higher as the market does open, or if we see somewhat of a pullback. But as we can see, XRP's up to something interesting here in just this last hour, taking another stab near these highs once again. And as we all know, we're at these retracement levels. Can we get the clear break through them? That would be the ultimate cool thing to catch in markets in the morning on a Friday at that. So we would take it all day. It looks like Bitcoin, a little bit of a pullback here. So Bitcoin was getting a little bit of a pop there. This is also occurring at the same time as XRP was, right? And so we see Bitcoin starting to pull back. Here we go, stock market open. Let's see what you got. That is bizarre. You have the Dow Jones opening negative. That can't be right. And then the S&P's up, but then in the futures, you have it up 245. NASDAQ, you have it open 69, where the futures are up 237. This is bizarre. There's a 200-point difference between these two. Something weird is going on here. What is going on here? How is this down when you clearly see the futures are up? And we see all the green here. You got Tesla up 5%, like we talked about. There's Netflix up 2%. NASDAQ up 74. Gap's up 76. Futures still up 246. Dow down 30 with futures up 247. How bizarre. I can't recall seeing that. It's weird. That's just odd. It's like my mind is like scrambled right now. We can clearly see it. Futures up 250, but the market just opened down 27. Okay, bizarre. Maybe it'll settle itself out here in a minute, and we'll see what the heck is going on there. But either way, metals, looks like you've got gold, takes a flip to the downside, down 0.15%. Looks like you got silver down 0.15%, platinum down 0.75% as the market does open. Again, Tesla up 5, Netflix up 2, XRP taking a pullback as the market starts to open. Bitcoin, same story, had a little bit of a pop. Again, this is still my base case for now, unless a surprise shows up, is that we're going to waddle here through June. Still just a head scratcher on why we're showing plus 252 over here. We have this big gap, right? Right, this gap happened after the market closed, when futures closed. Then we gapped up. How much did we gap up? I'm missing. I have to be missing something. There's some gap here that has shown up. It's just bizarre. It is totally bizarre. You have the NASDAQ up 256 in futures, 1.75%, but you have the NASDAQ up 0.87. Is there some like new ticker that was added or like removed and it's not reflected in futures or in the standard indices yet? There's going to be something that's saying that, because we can all clearly see it. It says futures up 250, but the actual Dow is down 33. And the futures for the NASDAQ are up 255, but it's only up 87. So, all right, we'll leave that alone, and we'll see if that thing kind of figures itself out, or there's some kind of update that's made throughout today. But that is truly bizarre. As for gold, it's still just sitting tight. Crypto, most of the market is green today. With XRP, obviously the biggest battle here, seeing if we can get through the retracement levels. But again, you can view it as like the most exciting time, or you can view it as the most nail-biting time, or you can view it as the most scary time. Because as you're at here, like most people tend to get scared at low prices. That's where they say, I'm selling because we're going to go lower. It's gone lower. I've taken enough pain. I'm out of here. I'm selling. I don't operate like that. If you've noticed on this channel, I'm pretty optimistic through everything. Then when we get to retracement levels, I become that guy. I become that, I'm worried. I don't know what's going to happen. And that's just how it is at those retracement levels. And my mind knows we crack through here. It's like ridiculously exciting, but my mind also knows what can happen from these spots right in here. And so, yeah, and we're at a point now where it's like, gosh, how many YouTube videos can I make where I just say the same thing, but say it in a different way? So we're just kind of waiting on it to go ahead and give us at least some type of answer. The things that we've noticed is there's been these bearish divergences that have emerged here on the 4-hour, 8-hour, 12-hour, and daily time frame as we're back at these retracement levels. We have bearish underlying behavior, but we also know we have a bunch of catalysts coming in the next week, hopefully, that gives us just enough juice to crack here, and that sends all the buyers into a frenzy, hits all the stop losses that are set right here. Because just even me, that's my strategy, right? If I'm playing these things, we'll get back into retracement levels, and then my stop's going to get set above the final retracement level, and we get through there, it's going to trigger it. It's going to trigger me to buy back in. That's not the case right now. I'm in. I'm not actively day trading right now. But would I be taking a trade on XRP? That's how I'd be doing it. This is a no-brainer sell spot with a stop just shortly above the 786. So it's either the most epic short possible, or it gets blown out. And if it gets blown out here, this is a really good sign for XRP. So I can only say that so many different ways, and so we just kind of have to wait. But next week we'll have a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, it's going to be an action-packed week in regards to economic data, and in regards to FOMC meetings. So the number of live streams we do next week and the number of videos we do next week will be a very, very busy week. So let's just enjoy our Friday that we have a green day here, coming off of just like an absolutely silly, stupid Monday and Tuesday, as the SEC tells us all that we don't need any other currencies. We already have the US dollar, and is apparently doing all of their actions based on that and having nothing to do with protecting you, the investor, obviously, by damaging markets. But they're here to perpetuate Gary Gensler's belief system. So there's only one real FU money out there, baby, and it's XRP. All right, so there we go. That's what we got going on today. Let's see if those futures have cleaned themselves up a little bit. They have not. They are still just bizarre. You got the futures climbing even higher. What is going on over here? Something is wrong. Maybe it's with, let's go over here. Let's go to CNBC. S&P rises Friday, headed for fourth straight day. What are you guys reporting the market at? You're reporting the same. No, you're reporting this. You're reporting different than futures data. Something's weird with futures. That's what's going on. Okay, so Dow is down 11 points. S&P is up 10 points. NASDAQ's up 76. So that is what we actually do see here. Dow down 3, NASDAQ 95, NASDAQ 95, S&P up 10. So that's kind of what they're saying, showing over here. So there's something wrong with the futures data. Okay. All right. As for news, banks are cutting off Binance's access to U.S. banking system. I think they made a post. So if you're using Binance US, or Binance, I don't know, you need to check it. Go check their Twitters. They've been posting stuff over there on Twitter. I guess we should share that here on there, so I don't have to make you do the legwork. You tune into the Blockchain Backer channel, so I tell you. Pulling it up. 1 second. Okay, I guess I got to go to Binance US. Binance US. Here we go. The SEC has taken to using extremely aggressive and intimidating tactics in its pursuit of an ideological campaign against the American digital asset industry. Binance US and our business partners have not been spared in the use of these tactics. Which has created challenges for the banks with whom we work with. As a result, in an effort to protect our customers and platform, today we are suspending USD deposits and notifying customers that our banking partners are preparing to pause fiat withdrawal channels as early as June 13th. We encourage customers to take appropriate action with their USD. Our priority is and has always been our customers. We are taking these proactive steps as we for a time transition to a crypto there's weird language here. As we for a time transition to crypto-only exchange. To be clear, we maintain one-to-one reserves for all customer assets. Any downtime in processing withdrawals may be the result of elevated volumes and weekend bank closures. Moreover, trading, staking, deposits, and withdrawals in crypto remain fully operational. While we remain open to a productive compromise that enables a thriving digital asset marketplace in America, Binance US will continue to vigorously defend ourselves, our customers, and industry against the meritless attacks of the SEC. Anyway, if you have crypto on Binance US, you should probably reconsider that idea. One thing, too, is that, a lot of stuff has come out here about former CEOs of Coinbase. As you guys may remember, Catherine Coley, she used to work for Ripple, and then she went over to Binance US, made it a while there, and then just disappeared one day to never be heard of again on Twitter, like 2 years ago. Totally bizarre, gone. Then Brian Brooks, former head of the CFTC, he went on to become CEO of Binance US, and after 4 months, he quit. And then there's all this testifying information to the SEC from Catherine Coley, former CEO, and Brian Brooks, saying that there is a lot of commingling or a lot of that Binance US is supposed to be its own independent business. It's supposed to be its own independent company, but that there's a lot of commingling happening between Binance and between Binance US, and that they're not independent. They are mingled together. That it doesn't appear like I don't know, because I'm not involved in it. I'm just looking at what I see on Twitter, and the same things everybody else is seeing. The appearances don't look good. Fortunately, there hasn't been a circumstance like we saw with FTX, where everything just was this big, massive Ponzi that was recognized within half a second. But the appearances don't look that great for Binance US in regards to commingling, in regards to it being its own company. It has the appearance of being mingled with Binance. And that's and that's one thing for the SEC to testify it. I've learned not to trust the majority of what the SEC says, because they will lie. But those testimonials from Brian Brooks and Catherine Coley kind of give a paint. And if you've been here for years, you kind of watched all that kind of stuff happen over the years. People who showed up maybe in 2021 didn't really see any of that. But of us back there in 2018, 19, 20, we kind of watched Binance US come out. We watched it get introduced. We watched them slowly start to roll it out to more and more states. We watched Catherine Coley work there to try to get more states added and more states added. And she would always announce it every time she got one. And then she just suddenly departed and was gone. And it was very bizarre. And then when the former CFTC chair says, I'll do it, and then he's there for 4 months and then he quits, it was like, well, this is weird. This is odd. And never to comment on it again. So something's up. Something odd. Yeah. So, okay. Binance, US, if you have money there, you're being given every warning out there from everything in the world saying, you may want to reconsider that. Okay. These are just kind of filler articles, it feels like. Already explored. Apple Vision Pro fails to impress Mark Zuckerberg. Oh. Hey, my biggest competitor. You have failed to impress me. All right. Tether's game plan in El Salvador. Why invest in Volcano Energy? Breaking. Binance US suspends USD deposits. We already did that. Binance is humiliated. Hong Kong needs 100K crypto workers. China's AI unicorn, Asia Express. So first of all, I'll make one more comment on this Binance and this Coinbase stuff, and then we'll move on. There's probably some it seems like there's probably some stuff there with Binance. It seems like there is. And I've always had a kind of odd feeling about Binance. I don't know. I don't use Binance. I don't use Binance US. But CZ, he does come across as, I'm just this normal, average, really good guy. And I'm just totally a normal person. But at the same time, he's not a normal person. He is a billionaire. And at the same time, he doesn't really have a residence. Like, you never know where to find him. And Binance doesn't have like a real address or a building, right? It's kind of like on the move. It's like you can't catch it, right? There's something odd about it all. And it feels like there's probably something there. And if you don't know this, in 2018, the day I initially became skeptical of Binance, happened one particular day and then reaffirmed the next day. And it's this day right here. And then it got reaffirmed another day. So where have we seen weird things happen with Binance is that we had held this 6,000 floor for months. So we had already been holding it for 6 months. Binance goes down for like I can't remember how many hours it is. I'm going to pull the number out of my backside. Like 6 hours or 8 hours, they go down for an upgrade. They finally come back from the upgrade. And the second they come back and go live, we begin capitulation of Bitcoin. And it just crumbles, right? So we've been holding this thing for 6 months or so. Binance has the system upgrade. The moment they come back online, boom, it goes. Like right when they go back online, off and away we go into capitulation. Then back over here, prices shoot up to the upside. And then something happens, and this is where the term SAFU gets created by CZ Binance, in which prices fired up to the upside here. And then I can't recall the story of what happened, but then Binance locked everybody out from being able to withdraw their assets for like 1 to 2 weeks. And they kept, and CZ would come on every day and reassure everybody, SAFU, your assets are SAFU. And it's like, stop saying that, man. Let me have my money. And it just became this big marketing thing of SAFU in here, and nobody could remove their money. Then finally they opened it up and they let everybody back in. We're all happy and everybody's cool, right? And then again, you know, you have CZ Binance being the one coming in here who goes after FTX. And here we are. $216 days between hitting the 200-day moving average, and the second we hit it, CZ comes in and goes after FTX. There's just been a multitude of things that are odd about CZ's and Binance's behavior when it comes to capitulations, and that CZ and Binance actually played a role in both of them. One, they did the FTX stuff here on this one, right? That's where Bitcoin sets its low. The altcoin market still held its low from there and still been holding it ever since, still sitting on top of the 200-day moving average here. But this is what, you know, capitulates that spring phase there for the altcoin market, whereas, you know, Bitcoin gets that one further dip. And it was Binance doing some type of update to their system where they shut down for 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever it was. They come back on live and we capitulate. And then it's also Binance again hitting it right here, being the one responsible for that one. So I don't know. I've always had a weird gut feeling based off those events that something doesn't smell right. I don't have any evidence of anything in particular outside of very interesting timing. I have no way to prove any of it was intentional in any way, so I can't accuse it to be intentional, but I can say, boy, it sure has the appearances of it. Okay, moving on. All right, yeah, Binance US, they're screaming at you, get your money off there. Trump apparently been indicted for a couple more criminal things. I haven't read too much into this. I try to avoid politics on this channel unless it directly relates to cryptocurrency. So if Gary Gensler has wet noodle hands, we'll cover it. Even if it's not pertaining to crypto, we'll talk about somebody shook his hand and they wrote a whole article on how noodly it was. We'll probably read that. But we're not going to go too deep into this stuff. I don't know the validity of any of it. I don't know what the outcome of it will be or what it means, whatever. But this one here, right? Binance, again, cutting off U.S. banking system stuff. So take care of yourself there. Or if Elizabeth Warren is coming on talking trash, we'll cover that. That lady is very dislikable. But not to be perceived that I'm political, because I know Trump goes on the Republican side. I know Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler on the Democrat side. It's just sheer luck that it's that way. Anybody who's going to be anti-crypto is going to get the sour side from me. But if we're not talking crypto, if politicians are not involved in crypto, we're not covering it. All right. And for those who don't know, in 2020 and 20 stuff, I did plenty of trash talking about Trump when he was talking bad about Bitcoin. And he did. You guys can't pretend he didn't. He did. New York City air improves to moderate for first time since Monday. Man, they've been dealing with some weird stuff over there. When I picked my mom up, she was up there near Canada. Yesterday I had to pick her up from the airport. And she was up there near Canada, and she definitely said there was the good old smoky stuff there from those fires. So All right. Well, if you're watching this live stream, there's a big conversation in the chat about people who sit down in the shower. Sweet. I think it's time for me to jump in the chat. I think we've pretty much beaten this with a stick. You got money on Binance US, reconsider it. They're being very clear about that. Stock market opens to the upside. Dow Jones now flips green. NASDAQ up 155. S&P up 20 points. So there we go. Now we're catching the bid here in the stock market where it's starting to move up. Good deal. Crypto, XRP, obviously just took a stab right back here near the top of these retracement levels, but all eyes on this throughout the weekend. Typically on the weekends, I take the days off, but if we do get the breakthrough there, you better believe it, I will be back. As for Bitcoin, chilling, just chilling. And like as we just saw right there, as we're looking at it, you got the altcoin market cap sitting on top of the 200-day moving average, just hanging out right there. So max fear, max worry, max being scared as we're on the 200-day moving average. Sounds about normal. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the chat. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. There's 1,600 of you in here. We only have 399 likes. The number one way to support the channel is just to hit the like button. That's it. If you could hit the like, I'd appreciate it. Let's jump into the chat. Straight out the gates. Gaurav, Gulati, welcome as a backer. Thank you so much. Matt Eanes, same thing, man. Welcome. He says, good morning. Happy Friday. Can you show H-bar and Hex or go over typical fib retracement? I got to be careful, guys. Don't donate for altcoins, okay? Don't donate for altcoin chart reviews. I want to kind of nip that in the bud today. We can talk about H-bar briefly, but man, it's like I go over that every live stream. If people go back and watch, you guys don't have to donate to ask that question. It gets asked like every single live stream about H-bar and the concerns with H-bar. Hex, I'm not even going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole because I don't know the problems with Hex. I know Hex went down like a half a cent today. Now they've got the whole pulse chain thing. They've got a duplicate of Hex on the pulse chain. Is that one the real Hex? Is the Hex the ERC21? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there with that whole system where they're copying over ERC20 tokens to pulse chain and stuff like that. I don't know if you can do anything with. Are they abandoning the original Hex? I don't know. So that one I can't really cover. As for H-bar, you can just draw the fib retracements or go over typical fib retracements. I think you know how to do it, bro. You don't need me, right? You know, there's fib retracement levels. Problem with H-bar is going to be focusing more on market cap than focusing on price chart because price chart is not representative of the true price of the Hedera network. It as well is a victim of its own inflationary problems. And these are just consistently seem to be the ones that have been pushed on the XRP community are these really high inflationary coins. H-bar. So as you can see, H-bar still sits way up here, right? So like there's your low from the summer of 2021. We're on top of that, right? It's right there. If you go look, that's where the market cap of H-bar is at. And that level is right here. Look at that discrepancy on price location compared to the two. That the market cap still sits plenty high, but the price sits incredibly low. So the price is actually 65% below that, whereas the market cap is still 20% above that. Why would that happen? And it's because the market cap is being diluted by a significantly more amount of coins. So I'd be probably paying attention to this market cap, and the first concerns on the market cap are going to be that right there. That's clear as day. It's right at a retracement level, and it's a local high. It's a typical place where price could typically stop. That means that probably about a 230% rise on the market cap. If that were to happen tomorrow, and if price was to rise tomorrow, 230%, that level is much closer to right around here. It's right around 15 cents. If it took 6 months from right now, you deal with 40% inflation. So you see 20% increase in supply. And so you'd reduce that level probably by about 20%. So probably closer to 12 cents or 13 cents. That's if we only do a retracement, right? If this thing goes full bull, it's a totally different story. But first things always when working back up is to always sit there and bite your teeth, bite your cheeks, bite your lips, bite your tongue, nibble on your cheeks and create those little sores that are annoying and your tongue keeps touching them. Eat all your fingernails as we get back to the retracement levels. If we get through the retracement levels, then we start getting excited about, hey, this thing might go into a real bull. But the first step on the wall of worry is all those retraces. And that one would be a very common place to stop at. And that would be roughly about 15 cents for H bar. If it can get through there, boom. Quite a bit more to go. You can be looking, if you're looking at a 4.236 extension, I still don't even think we're looking at new all-time highs for H bar. We would be. You'd be looking at maybe 80 cents. So, and that, again, that all depends on how long it takes. If it happens really quick, then, that's feasible. But if it takes a year, you're going to have 40% supply. So you're going to lose because there's so much inflation in H bar. That doesn't get you above the all-time high. If it takes a whole year for that to happen, you're looking at 49 cents, 48 cents. Which is why some of these coins were just horrendous. I like the idea of Filecoin. I love decentralized storage. I think it's the bomb.com. The biggest problem I've had for me has been the inflation of 133% annually and no plan to improve that. And even asking Matt Hamilton in person, he didn't know the answer. Tells me either you don't know the answer or you don't want to say the answer. And the answer is that the 133% is going to continue. The article he pointed me to made it seem the article that it was going to continue. Yeah. Oh boy, what's going on in the chat? All right, there's stuff. I got to move on. That's why we can't spend this much time on altcoins, guys. If altcoin reviews will have to be punted to another day, guys. So if there's any of them in there, I got to punt them and move on. But thank you, Matt. Adam Walker. Happy Friday. You're the man. Thank you, Adam. Member, 1 month. Thank you. Flying Sean says, happy Friday, BCB. In the old course, you laid out 2 exit scenarios based on XRP if Bitcoin moon. First, rotate, exit market. Does that plan still apply if Bitcoin retraces this year or just all-time high scenarios? It absolutely is totally still dependent on retrace now. Still, retrace now. That's why I always say it. Yeah, when we get back into retracements for Bitcoin, no matter what, I'm pulling money out of this market. Right? If this scenario comes up, BCB's pulling money out for sure. Right. And it's funny because I'm recording a whole video. I've been recording it. It's taken all day yesterday and it's taken all day today. It is for the new course. And it's really dissecting into the 2017 altcoin runs and then into the 2021 altcoin runs and the differences between them, between the two, and how it was such a massively different dynamic, not just from timing, because we can argue this particular top, we can argue particular locations and argue where we are within everything, but that you didn't have nearly the number of coins go breaking a new all-time high as you did in past market cycles. And so the big question currently now, and the big debate amongst everybody is, will this start a whole new cycle, or is this A, B, C? And why would it be ABC? And it's for those who've been here a long time. Anybody who's new here is going to say, no, BCB, that's impossible. Is that we've been watching super cycles, right? And if we've had super cycles, and if this was the completion of the third super cycle, well, how do Elliott waves work, right? You have cycles, you have super cycles, you have grand super cycles. Go the opposite way. You have intermediaries, you have minutes, you can get real minuscule. And the idea is that they can get bigger and bigger and bigger and smaller and smaller and smaller. And if we've had 3 super cycles, then this would be the ultimate grand retracement of all to then fall over, because this is the completion of the third super cycle. And the biggest misconception in the market is that this was a new cycle and that this was a new cycle, and not that this was actually one cycle in itself and that this is just part of the cycle. That's the hardest part for people to grasp their head on. Here we go. That we've done, even prior to this, we had one of the same size. You come over here, you have your next one. And then what do we end up having? We have the same thing. And it's hard for people to wrap their head around that this was just part of the same cycle. This is all still the same thing. We were just pausing out on a longer time frame. The whole run is longer, but in the end, the same thing. And for those who were here in 2021, you all know it. I was screaming about Bitcoin when we were up at these prices. But also that we've kind of done enough to satisfy all of these, right? And so the big argument, the big grand debate that goes on out there, right? Now, we don't know the answer yet. The big grand debate is on Elliott waves here, and whether or not this is an extended flat Elliott wave correction, or if this is the A leg of an ABC of a much grander super cycle that went like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that we're going to be producing the C leg to come up next, and tie that in with the things that we see over here in the stock market, right? You got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happening in here. All of our super cycles align in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that do we go on and have our fall in the stock market, and it takes Bitcoin down with it. So if this is the scenario, right, what would that mean? That would mean in a super cycle, in a grand super cycle, it is the most epic of all retraces in the history of all time. It's the biggest one we will have ever seen. It will be that this time is different. It will be the return to normal belief. It'll be euphoria in the market, most likely, only to not be able to get out there. And what we have seen historically is in super cycles, when we get to peaks and we get to retracements, that's where euphoria takes place. It's where the return to normal happens. Everybody turns bull. Kind of like if you look at the market in the stock market 6 months ago, you had everybody who's a Fed expert, right? Don't fight the Fed. How irresponsible. And then now they're all throwing money at meme coins and they're throwing money at AI, right? The Fed hasn't stopped yet. The Fed hasn't paused or cut rates yet, but it doesn't matter. It's just, what is the sentiment change? And that historically, this is where we're going to have sentiment change occur. And I think that's even a good example here on XRP. Like, how many people are really like living in despair right now? Not many, right? People are excited. That's just what happens back at retracement levels. And it's also where they can reject from. But when we get down here, when we get near lows, that's where the despair starts to pour in. So the big argument is it this, right? And if it's this, if it's the end of a third super cycle, which is how we were able to pick the top, was based on super cycle theory and 4.236 extensions. And why would you have a 4.236 extension? It's because you have a contracting triangle, which I always call the crash, retrace, reaccumulation, and you have your 4.236 extension that happens for wave 4 into wave 5. So wave 4 can take different shapes of, rather than just your standard ABCs, wave 4s can have triangles in which they're going to have ABCs, and then you can do ABCs and, oh geez, in which you could do ABCs, and then which you can do ABCs, and then you just go back and forth until finally the triangle breaks and you hit full extension, which is what we did for wave 4 in here. Now the big debate is all of this. Stock market. Will you break to the upside? If you do not break to the upside, then there's never been a historical precedent set for Bitcoin to be able to go set a new all-time high. However, why is this behavior so weird for Bitcoin on the top? Why does it look the way that it does? Why does it have this weird setup happening to it? And the argument is the extending flat Elliott wave ABC correction. And essentially what you have is you have A, B, C. Now, how can you have that happen where B goes above it? And it's called a flat Elliott wave, and you can have that. do we see, and that would, and technically, what are we supposed to be exhibiting here at this price level? We're technically supposed to be exhibiting the same behavior that we experience at the end of a super cycle, right? But this looks different. But does it look different? Is there actually things that are very similar to it? We saw this, right? We know we behaved how we should have, where we should have, right? Are we behaving like we did back in here? So like, we can flip this to the monthly time frame. And we can see that as we got here, we can clearly see our RSI falls off a cliff, which is also the same thing that happened at our peak over here, that the RSI in the monthly time frame falls off a cliff. This is also what happens right here at the peak of Bitcoin in 2017. We fall off a cliff. I mean, look at it all, right? The stochastic RSI has fallen off a cliff. Stochastic RSI has fallen off a cliff. And then we get that stochastic RSI to go fall off a cliff over here. So I've lost you guys. Hold on. I've closed you out. I need to bring you back. I do this all the time. Anyway, you could see it here, right? You see that the stochastic RSI happens on the monthly time frame, the fall off. This is the marker of the end of the bull. And we see that on the monthly time frame that it's happening here as it did at this peak and as it did at this peak. So why does price look different, right? Why did the altcoins, like a lot of them, finish here, right? You got Litecoin that finished there. You got XRP that finished there. Some of them been going to new all-time highs. Why did price stop there? And why didn't it keep going up in here? How can you explain it away? And the only way you can explain it away is that this is the correction. The euphoria in the market did take place back here, and that we've now completed the extended flat Elliott wave correction, in which wave C is identical in both circumstances, in which we can see that in here. We can measure these waves. Wait, here's wave C. 77. It's 77. Okay, we'll be legit. There we go. Both circumstances, 77.64%, 77.67%. And in an Elliott wave flat correction, this is what happens. That wave B goes above. So this is the argument, right? So this is the argument that we are already here. We're working on things to work back up, and that we're really going to go set a new all-time high. If that is the case, if we are going to go set a new all-time high, if a whole new bull run is starting for Bitcoin, it's going to be independent of the stock market, or the stock market's going to go break out in a new all-time high and its bull run's going to continue. If this is the case, and if Bitcoin's going to go set a new all-time high, then history tells us it's highly unlikely the altcoin market is going to do anything until that all-time high gets broken. It's just sheer fact, sheer obviousness. We can overlay the altcoin market right in here, and we can just see it that, Bitcoin breaks its all-time high after a multi-year bear. There you go. What happens? Altcoin market goes and rocks and rolls, right? Bitcoin breaks. Bitcoin breaks its all-time high. Right? Altcoin market still sitting way below, 50% below its all-time high. Bitcoin breaks, altcoin market goes. So the theory has to be, just if we're going to use history as an example, is the theory has to be that one, altcoin market's dead, it's never coming back ever again. Or two, if you want to be a little more optimistic than Doom City, is that we can go into a retracement here on a grand super cycle for Bitcoin, and that we've now completed 3 completed super cycles. Let's just do it. Bring it up. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the one most people do not agree with because they want to say that it's Bitcoin block reward halvings. And the Bitcoin block reward halving argument has a strong validity to it, right? Because we look over here and we say, all right, when did we break out from our all-time high here? When did we break out from our all-time high here? When did we break out from our all-time high here? Block reward halving happens back in here, like around right there. Block reward halving happens like right there. And then the block reward halving happens right in there. So we look through past cycles, right? You have a couple of years here. And, it's like 100 days or whatever. And then we go set a new all-time high. And, we have a halving. Then it's like 200 days. We go set a new all-time high. Have a halving. And 200 days, we go set a new all-time high. I mean, like you see it pretty clear, right? It happens, it happens, it happens. The next one's not scheduled until April of 2024. So what do we do? Is waddle around in here until April of 2024, having hits. And, 200 days later, we go set a new all-time high. That's a theory out there, right? If you go based off of these last 3 periods, the problem here for my argument of saying this is wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is people are just like, what are you doing, man? Like, you look at this one. The first one is only a year long, and then from the bottom, the next one is 2 years long, and then you're saying from the bottom, the next one is 7 years long. That doesn't make any sense because our block reward halvings are every 3 years or every 4 years, right? Our block reward halvings are every 4 years, and yet you can look at our tops. Our top is there, November 2013. Our top, December 2017. Our top, November 2021. You almost have literally 4 years between each of these. And we all say Bitcoin block reward halvings are 4 years apart. But that's a lie because they're not 4 years apart. What are they? Right? That one was 3 years and 7 months. That next one was 3 years and 11 months. And then the next one that we're going to have is going to be 3 years and 11 months. Why do we have absolute perfection of hitting these tops 4 years apart from each other, but the block reward halving is not consistently 4 years? It's like 3 years and 7 months, 3 years and 11 months, 3 years and 10 months. It's not consistently every 4 years. But these tops and these bottoms are consistently every 4 years. So how do we explain away that the block reward halving is not really actually every 4 years, but these market cycle tops and bottoms are? So it's a lot to think about, right? And so my argument is that maybe it's not the block reward halvings, and the block reward halvings just happen to be kind of landing a little bit ironically in the right timing. And I understand the argument of a block reward halving. I've promoted that ideology in the past. That, in the end with miners, you have a specific amount of selling pressure that is pushing down on the price every single day. They're minting Bitcoins. It's getting pushed down every day. Right now they're getting 900 Bitcoins a day. That is sell pressure on top of the market every day. And then the day that gets cut in half and goes down to 450, well, they're only selling 450 a day, but the buy pressure remains equivalent. What's that going to do naturally? It's going to push price up, right? We all know that. So the argument is logical, but will it actually do it, or is it more tied to broader markets? And so my argument is there's a high likelihood that we could have, I'm not going to say high likelihood because it's theoretical and we've never seen it before, that what we have witnessed is 3 equivalent super cycles. And the big question is, was that one big grand super cycle for Bitcoin? And was that big grand super cycle having to do with a 5-wave structure that has happened here in the stock market because they've occurred all at the exact same time? and that Bitcoin's inception was here. And so the argument would be these grand super cycles are moving with the stock market at the same time. So the point of what I'm getting at is your question. Let's get back to it. Talking about me focusing on whether or not I'm still going to be exiting at these retracements. And the answer is yes, I absolutely have to. Because there's the potential that this was the completion of a fifth wave super cycle. And that this move up here is the retracement of an ABC. And that would be starkly different than what the market would expect. Because if we go with the extended flat here, it does tell us we're in here, dude, and we're like ready to ramp up for another massive bull run, right? Like if we're going into a new bull run, if we're going to set it all up, if we're going to go wait through the block reward halving, and if we're going to go into new all-time highs or something, we're not setting up for like a baby run. We'd be setting up for like legit another one of these things, another like 12,000% rise. And do you think that's going to happen? Do you think Bitcoin's going to rise 12,000%? So I'm sticking with that. I've kind of mentioned that, what I'm going to do is take profits in here. And if I have to miss this whole area in order for Bitcoin to break into a new all-time high to tell me the decision, I'm willing to miss that. Because the situation here is either this, or as we have completed correction in here, it would indicate we are going to start another super cycle. And that would likely go much higher. And I'm willing to let the market prove to me what we're going to do there to let me decide, all right, I'm hopping in. I'm going on the ride. Let's do it. LFG, all in. Let's be wild. Let's be crazy. Or I'm real grateful I took some out before that happened. And I'm willing to miss this particular location with a majority in order for that decision to get shown. But okay, I spent way too much time on this answer. Like that was some serious alpha. If you didn't write any notes down and study what I was saying there and you just brushed it over and ignored it, bad idea. There was a silly amount of alpha in there. All right. Thank you, Flying Sean. Gator, gifted 5 DCV memberships. Oh my gosh, I see the number up there. I know what I'm walking into here. I can see you guys are already at 39. Oh boy. All right. I love you guys. All right, let's go. Gator, thank you. Pat as well, coming out swinging with 5. Pat, man, just a week ago, like first timer and then crazy. Thank you, Pat. Grumpy Old Man says, bingo, hi BCB. Am I right in saying ADA looks like it's completed a crashing structure? Looks similar to Shiba Inu. Thanks. I'll be very brief on this. Spend like 2 seconds looking at it. You're talking about this one right here? I don't know. Like, if I was only paying attention to this one tiny segment, I'd probably be saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you get it. But that's one of those ones that is dealing with some issues right now. People were saying Robinhood has confirmed that they're delisting it, but I couldn't find that online. Gear Mochila, super chat. Thank you very much. No message, but thank you very much. Chris DeLeon says, Trump being indicted while we have Hinman emails released. The timing, like you say, tinfoil unicorn simulation Wednesday frogs hit the likes. Yeah, we haven't even thought about that. We haven't even talked about that yet. If there's some like really damning stuff that comes out in here, historically, politicians tend to do a really good job having some other mystical thing show up that distracts all of our attention. So don't be surprised at that too. If it's as bad as people think, it would not be surprising if there is something else. Nicolay, thank you so much. He says, hey, keep up the good work. Don't you think that right now everyone expects XRP to moon because everyone expects Ripple to win the lawsuit, but typically retailers always wrong-footed? In my opinion, a lot of people will win if XRP moons now, which seems wrong. I don't think as many people are in XRP as you think, right? Like, I don't think there's nearly as many as you think there are. I understand 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, who cares? With like substantial wallets. It's not like Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin, when it was sitting at $3,000, $4,000, same thing. You know, tens, 20s, 30s, hundreds of thousands of wallets holding, 10K plus in Bitcoin. I don't think there's that many in XRP. And the access to most United States residents is cut off. I know it feels weird to say I'm the one on the winning team. That shouldn't be the way, but it happens, man. You just kind of go through the torture of it all. In the video I've been working on today for like the altcoins for the course. I'm going through and reviewing a lot of the old historical data to show who was the winner, right? And so we're all kind of accustomed, like, man, just kind of the last alt season was pretty dismal. Actually, only 2 out of every 10 altcoins went on to do any type of respectable run. If you would have accumulated anything, only 2 out of 10. That was your odds in 2019 through 2021. So anybody who is like a maximalist or consolidated into one specific thing, you only had a 20% chance that you had something good happen. You had to be diversified into at least 5 to have a decent chance that one of them would go on a decent mission size based on what happened in 2021, which is vastly different than what happened in 2017. So might just be stinking thinking you got there, Nicolay. But there's no question when we get back to retracement levels, everybody gets optimistic. Be careful with the narratives of it's over. Be careful of the people who are perpetuating that narrative, if they're selling you products. And if there's an alternative motive to sell products by perpetuating that narrative. You know what I'm saying? I sure hope the people who are claiming that they've been hearing from reliable sources that it is over, and they also sell products, I sure hope that they're being honest. But yeah, obviously, when we get back to retracement levels, this is where it all happens at. And it's just the perfect place for all of this to happen. That's why we're here. You know why we're here. It's because this is where everything happens. We get back to the retracements, and either the news is epic, and we break out and go on a massive bull run, or we get rejected from the retracements. And XRP now has itself appropriately priced, ready for the news to come, to either or to... and it's already baked into the cake, whatever way it's going to go. Somebody knows. It's already baked in. Just we don't know. But thank you, Nicolay. Jack says, can we get those 6 assets you are accumulating? We, as a BCB community, promise to troll the crap of anyone who complains. No, it doesn't work like that, bro. It doesn't work like that. If you troll them, they don't stop. That's the problem, too. Like, and like I just said, I've gone in the course that I'm recording. I went through a lot of the assets and showed that 2 out of 10 was your odds in 2021. It doesn't matter if BCB, did 5 out of 10 and beat the market and did 5 out of 10. I will only hear about the other 5 out of 10 that didn't the whole time. So I haven't decided on that yet. But thank you, Jack. I'll see. Philip Mann, new member. What's up? Whiskey 2 says, Whiskey Frog, LOL. Like the video. You know the frog will know. That's right. Whiskey, one of the biggest supporters of the channel here every day. He knows the game, guys. It's about hitting the like button and supporting BCB, because I only get my wings and my rainbows if I get the likes. Otherwise, I get off the stream and am sad. Oddrington. Oddrington? Hey, BCB, a fan since 2020. Love what you do. Have you any opinion on Nano, formerly Rayblox? It's been around since 2015. Love the tech, but the chart doesn't seem to follow the rest of the market. If it's not following the rest of the market and going down more than the rest of the market, then probably not. I think I remember that, man. I think I remember Nano from back in the day. But no, I don't know anything about it. If it's been around since 2015 and it's just completely fallen out of the top 100 or whatnot, probably not. So I don't know, but I appreciate it, man. It's very generous of you. Thank you. And first timer. I always love it when people come out of the woodworks for the first time. Thank you so much. Eric Martinson, $5, gifted $5. You guys went nuts there. Followed by Oscar Hernandez. You guys, thank you. On a Friday, we're just celebrating a Green Friday, I guess. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, Frankie Spanky knew what he's doing. He's like, hey, BCB, can you go ahead and review? Just kidding. LOL. Love you, man. XRP. Lots of things to occur on June 13th. I know, right? Like, this is our Friday. Like, guys, enjoy your weekend this weekend. Like, this is it. You're going to get we got a lot of crypto in our life this week. This was not a boring week. You know, sometimes we go through those weeks. I'm like, look, it's just a boring week, man. We got nothing in the news. We got no economic data. We've got nothing. And some people just say, I'm so bored, BCB. Make something happen. And it's like, look, just enjoy the moment that we are in. Because we don't always get those calm times. And obviously, we're in the thick of a crazy one right now. We've got all that SEC stuff that happened this week. And next week, conclusions, or does it open up new cans of worms all happening next week? And then we got CPI with the Fed and potential rate hike pauses. Let's go ahead and check that for Friday. What are you looking like? When stock market goes up, those odds usually go down. Still holding a 72% chance that the Fed is paused. So that's the big thing for next week too, on top of everything else that we have going on. And then if there is something devastating about the United States government in there and Gary Gensler's corruption, we'll probably get another narrative that'll try to cover it up and be even more dramatic than that. So get ready. But I'll be here every day and we'll go through it together. Thank you, Frankie. Sick Thinker gifted 5. Man, yeah, you guys went wild, and I'm so far behind. I'm a half an hour behind when you guys went wild. Sick Thinker, thank you. And then Philip Mann went wild, too, along with XP Market. You guys, thank you. XP Market, Philip Mann, Sick Thinker, thank you, guys. Sorry I'm so late to it. I'm going to get through these a little faster to catch up to live. Jerome T. Hey, BCB. I've been in the crypto market since the beginning of 2017, and I went through all the roller coaster moments so far. Been following since your early activities. Thank you, Jerome. Appreciate it, man. First time or two. Welcome. Brandon gifted a BCB membership. Thank you. Then Jesus is welcome. Got it. He became a new member. Follow and Jack. Welcome, Jack. He says, happy Friday. I was looking through your old videos trying to find what was happening with the banks right before the C19 capitulation. Help me out. I was trying to find out what was happening with the banks right before the C19 capitulation. Help me out. What do you mean? Are you talking about the repo crisis? That was all happening in September of 2019. 6 months before. So where's my old video that I did? So like I've tried lots of different things on my channel, right? I try some stuff that doesn't work. I make some mistakes that pisses a lot of people off, and I got to back off of it. I'm like, whoop, that was a bad idea. And then sometimes I'll do stuff and everybody will like it, and like you can't figure that out until you just try it. And then sometimes you do stuff that YouTube is like, hey, we're pissed off at you about that. And like, okay, I won't do that anymore. But, that's how you end up with things like markets in the morning is like, we tried it out. I didn't know if people would like it. I didn't know if I could handle being live for an hour or so each morning. And then it rocked, right? I've tried different things, whether like offering content like the course or trying to do a newsletter or going to the different route of having sponsorships. And, the sponsorship route it's just not appropriate for my channel. It's not something that's right for me, right for my channel. It's the extra content, education, and just like writing stuff and providing more content is the better route for my channel. But you have to screw up to kind of figure those things out. And I don't remember where I'm getting with. Oh, yeah, where I'm getting with that is with your question. I did like a nice little conspiracy video that talking about that. Like we were in February, I believe, of 2020, and I'm sitting here thinking, we got to do something crazy. We got to do something wild. But this market's holding up. And at that time, we were dealing with, if you guys remember it, and I made this video and I said, something's coming. I don't know what it is, but we don't know yet. And I can tell that they're kind of prepping us for something weird because it was like on the very first day of 2020, it was nonstop. It was something new every day was the problem. And if you guys remember, shortly before C19, you know what the thing was that they were trying to scare us? You guys remember, like, it was like Iranian missiles? And like, we got to see those videos of late at night. You'd see all those Iranian missiles flying. And I was like, this video is too good. This is too high quality. They're like intentionally trying to scare us about this Iranian thing. And I made this video and I said, this isn't it. This isn't the thing that's it's going to be. It's too obvious. And then just like a month later, it was C19 that sent the thing just crumbling. So I don't know. I made a video on it. I'd have to go. That would have been over 3 years ago. My gosh. So I would search my videos for like, look at titles of like from 2020, January and February of 2020. It might have been the first week of January, maybe January 7th. I don't know why that. January 7th, 2020, blockchain, backer, YouTube. No. No. I don't know. Look around then. Sorry, man. It's on the whim of the moment. But what I've done is I've tried those kinds of videos, and YouTube suppresses them. I think the video got 5,000 views. When I was still getting my normal stuff, but that one they would not push that one out. They wouldn't, man. All right, let's see here. So that might be what your question is, Jack. I'd look around January and February of 2020 where I'm discussing it. But the repo stuff, the bank situations where the Fed had to step in and the overnight lending market was happening in September of 2019. All right, Carlos says, hey, thank you very much, Carlos. He says, hey, BCB, good morning. Is there an exchange that allows you to pull out an infinite amount of liquidity all at once? Most exchanges have a cap on the day and month. Yeah, so most exchanges are going to have, depending on what KYC level you get yourself to, that increases the limit. Not that I know of, unless you're like capable of getting into OTC or over-the-counter stuff. But as for most exchanges, they're going to have a limit on them. And you can increase that limit by increasing your identity level. All right, but thank you, Carlos. G. Gauthier, first-time super chatter, but no message. I don't know if it was a slip up, but thank you so much. I'm getting closer. I'm within 20 minutes of being live. Oscar Hernandez, my dude, he says, I wanted to remind viewers to hit the like button. I love that you guys do that. Please hit the like button. It's mandatory of 1,000 or I die inside. George Alexanderopoulos says, do you see the case for the, I'm guessing Dow Jones and the NASDAQ extending the 4.236, pushing Bitcoin to barely setting a new high, all-time high, trapping everyone at the top before collapse? Sure, right? I mean, we just use simple if-then and say rules and has the Dow hit a 4.236 extension? Technically, no, it has not. Technically, no. So could it? Yes. Will it? I don't know. It's done other things. It's done structural behavior in here for the Dow Jones that typically doesn't happen unless a top has already occurred. But did it hit a 4.236? No, it did not. Could it? Yes. NASDAQ. Scary as can be. Did it hit a 4.236 extension? No, it did not. Did it get close? Yes, it did. Do we typically see an initial profit take in markets before they then go on and hit their 4.236 extensions? Yes, we do. We saw that happen in both Bitcoin and both in Ethereum. What did they do? They did exactly this. Fall, reach up, go like this, hit it, then crumble, right? That was the behavior of what it looked like for both Bitcoin and for both Ethereum, where they both got to these levels, right? So could that happen? Sure, right? If this is end of cycle stuff, then we're in for just a different game, right? The whole game of cryptocurrency market started here, worked its way all the way up here. Now look what we're dealing with. That has been the whole game from day one. Right there is when crypto's invented. That's been it. Now we're playing in a different ball game. XRP struggling. Here we go. Let's see. Technically on a 702 touch. Can you hold it? We'll find out. All right. Thank you very much, George. Granule Sackers, thank you very much. No message, man, but generous. Appreciate it, man. Michael Rawling says, thanks for markets in the morning, my dude. Dude, thank you. I only do it because you guys have asked me to continue doing it. Otherwise, I would have said, yep, there was another dumb thing that I did that everybody hated. But you guys hang out with me and you enjoy it and you tell me a lot of nice things. And it seems like a great place for you guys to hang out too in the chat and have fun. It's kind of built a little bit of a community. So I think it's dope. Hardick, thank you very much. No message, but I appreciate it, man. Flying Sean says, my question was more if you'll stick with the plan of rotating XRP proceeds into Bitcoin if XRP runs up ahead of the retrace. No. So, and that was in a different phase. I don't think when that was happening that was ever it in this scenario, that I rotate back into Bitcoin here. Not into Bitcoin at this location. Trying to think. Because we didn't get the breakout into all-time high for Bitcoin, for XRP yet. And for Bitcoin, it would have been like just the structure. They're just not the same. I know what you're asking. You're asking like in 2017 where you had 2 altcoin seasons. You haven't had that here in the crypto market. You only saw 2 out of 10 run. It just hasn't been the same thing as we had in 2017. It's blatantly obvious too. So I don't know. I've been so deep in that topic right now, recording on bcbacker.com, that it's been like I've had a headache yesterday and today. I've had to take breaks and go lay down in bed and be like, oh my gosh, this is so intense. Because if you guys have ever seen me do altcoin videos, I overlay a lot of different stuff. Like we add like 10 assets to charts, we watch them all move together, and then I'm going down, I'm compounding data. Like I'm calculating every altcoin from the top 30, and we're like trying to quantitatively measure who are the winners, who are the losers, how does that differentiate, how could you figure that out, and trying to figure out like really dissecting what the heck happened in 2021 compared to 2017. Because it was very different. 2 out of 10. You went and bought 50 assets. 2 out of 10. Oh, what a boss. Crypto Pigeon says, yo, BCB, your favorite leverage trader here. We closed the mooning, so naturally I'm 50x. We're close to mooning, so naturally I'm 50x short. He's insane. Listen here, everybody. This guy does this every day. He comes on here and 50x leverages one way or the other, but he gets wiped out all the time. I don't support leverage trading. But this bro, he does it all the time. But he gets wiped. And you will too. He says he only does it with like $20 though. So, but anybody ever, I don't use leverage. I've never used leverage in crypto. I don't support leverage. I don't have links to exchanges for you to go lose all your money on a leverage exchange. Don't trade with leverage. That's the message. Dr. Ty. He says, sell us products, dang it. Sell us merch. Happy Friday. Moon, moon, moon. Yeah, you guys keep asking for the merch too. We are actively working on it. My wife is working on that with me a lot. One step at a time. But it's not one of those things where, you guys remember, you're hounding me, harassing me, abusing me. And I would always say, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. We're well beyond the I'll think about it. We're in the take action, designing, all that different stuff. Emmanuel says, hey, what are your thoughts on Arbitrum's future? I don't know. I don't know much about Arbitrum, right? It's another second layer for Ethereum that has come out. It seems like the main competition is going to be between Arbitrum and Optimism. Arbitrum's had some controversy around it. From early on in token releases to the foundation, along with, I believe yesterday there was like a 5-hour halt, or the day before, 5-hour halt on Arbitrum processing reactions because the gas needed to be refilled by devs. That's not good. That's bad. You don't want that. Like that would rely on that. So I don't know. I'm curious if it's just been an overhyped early thing, right? So it's one of these newer ones, right? So you have several new stuff, right? You go through 2018, 2020, 2019, 2020. You know, if you check to see what was in the top 20 later on in 2021, a lot of them just didn't even exist in the top 100 early on. So sometimes it's about trying to find what are those new technologies that are emerging that are highly being developed on. Arbitrum also has kind of lackluster developer behavior, developer growth, unlike Optimism, which has a lot more. But if you go like read articles on it and like try to compare Arbitrum to Optimism, it seems that like Arbitrum kind of maybe outperforms Optimism. But then here's the problem. Optimism also getting incredibly adopted by Coinbase for the base, right? Build on base. And then now SEC going after Coinbase. So it's like, okay, well, how far off the ground will that whole development thing get? It's a weird world for layer 2. And then what's the other layer 2? Matic, right? Polygon. Like layer 2s are just really having a problem for Ethereum right now. So I don't know. That's my kind of just my general view on L2s on Ethereum at this moment. And that's not biased. I know I get it. I'm an XRP guy, but you know, I mean, I own Ethereum too. I mean, I bought Ethereum this week. It's not an anti-Ethereum message. I also own L2s, so. We'll see. All right, how close am I to live? 9:29. I'm 16 minutes behind. Skeleton, thanks for making my drive from Orange County to LAX enjoyable. Dude, rock on. Orange County. I, for a very short time in my childhood, lived in Irvine. My dad had got transferred from this job there, and we lived there for a very short time. Jack says, I just remember you calling for the capitulation and then C19 happened. That's when the rumor started that you were from the future. LOL. Thanks for all you do, man. Oh, you're talking about my video. Well, thank you so much for the support, Jack. Yeah, I feel bad. Like, I want to find this video, but I'm afraid it's going to take me 10 hours to find it. And, you know, there's 1,500 people in here. I'm so sorry, but you're going to have to wait 10 hours because Jack has been nice to me. And I'm going to give Jack the video he wants. So we're going all the way back. So how many videos would that be? Okay, I've got to get all the way back to January of 2020. And currently right now I am in January of 2020. No. I'm in July of 2021. Hey everybody, just look at this. Or I'll put this on the 1 minute price chart so we can all be like, oh my gosh. There's at least some action happening on my computer screen. Okay, I'm in January of 2021. I just got to get to January of 2020. We're almost there. So it's taking me about a minute and a half to get that far. So we should be in January of 2020 in less than a minute. And now it's paused. There we go. So in that video, I was also talking about like just distractions that were happening. The Great Distraction, that's what it was called. Backer, YouTube, distraction. 2020 distraction. Was it called like the Great Distraction or something? Okay, here we go. We're getting there. All right, I'm in February of 2020. I'm looking at my screen. I'm trying to find this video because I'm going to show it. There it is. What are they hiding? Tying the news together. Will XRP solve the liquidity problems?
Monday.com makes gains.
Jeez, that is loud. Oh, geez. Okay. Here we go. Here it is. Look at this. Look at this old school intro for the Blockchain Backer YouTube channel.
Perspective.
If you haven't seen that before, you must be new around here. But yeah, anyway, this is the video. What are they hiding? Tying the news together. 3 years ago, it's got 6,000 views. We'll share it. We'll copy the link. Close it. Check the chat. I'll post it in there. So whenever you get some free time, just open that up in another window and watch that. Oh, yeah. Are we going to get there, guys? We're at 981. The chat's going nuts. All right. Thank you, Jack. Oscar, Fibonacci Alfredo, Gary's favorite plate, Wen Moon. I need to share my Alfredo recipe with the with Twitter. Get you guys on that. That Alfredo. See, right now I'm on a diet. Like I have these like 8 to 10 week things that I do. I have to watch what I eat. Hey, we just hit 1,000. You guys rock. I know that's all you guys doing that in the chat. I appreciate it. You guys are too good. You guys are too good. I'm on this thing for 8 or 10 weeks where I got to really watch what I eat. Eric knows it. XRPP knows it. I'm try to eat clean for 8 to 10 weeks, and then I get right back on that saddle, just jamming this face full of pizza and fettuccine Alfredo and butter, and I don't give any F's. I love it all. But right now I eat cleaner. All right. Herod Hardid Ben Sully, thank you very much. And he follows it up. Thank you again. He says, hey, BCB, would you put on the EMA 2,500, 100, and 200 on XRP weekly? I think we have something humongous approaching in some weeks. Oh, geez, that's a lot of MAs to add, bro. Maybe another time. The thing with MAs, right? So the thing with moving averages, the thing with them is that everybody's going to say, here's my magical number of the moving average that I have. And I say, okay, well, it doesn't look like it's work. It's like, well, change the time frame. It's like, well, if you have me change the time frame, and then if you also have me change the number on the MA, then we're just picking one that we want to make fit. I remember in 2017, I watched, there was this YouTuber who had gotten pretty big, and he made up numbers. And I see people do this all the time. They make up MA numbers and call them magical numbers. This guy had like 343, and he had like 257. I'm like, oh my gosh. And still to this day, people do that. Obviously 20, 50, 100, and 200 is in no way that. I'm not saying that about you, sir. But then you have the battle of what about EMAs? What about MAs? Which one? Why aren't we using regular ones? Why are we using exponential ones? But, I got 50, 100, and 200 here. These are not EMAs, right? I don't see any literal behavior happening here on just the standard MAs. So my guess is we have to switch to EMAs to say it. Let's just go ahead and add them. It's going to make me do moving average exponential, isn't it? There it is. 1, 2, 3. Wait, you wanted one more, right? No, 4. Get rid of the ribbon. Hide all of these. And then they're set on 9. Whoopsie. 20. 50. 100. Whoops. 200. So I look through this. I don't see any like super amazing reactions that have happened specifically on them. And like the last time we were on top of all of them, that's what happened. And that's what happened. So on the weekly, I don't know, man. So when was the last time we had evidence of it being like awesome confirmed break, right? Any teetering above it was bad. Any teetering above just turned into nothing. And even when we just jammed out of it, we jammed back below. I mean, it's not fair because it's when the SEC sued Ripple right when Bitcoin broke out into the all-time high. Either way, it fires right back out, right? So you'd be looking for a real fire out. These types of moves all ended in nothing. If anything, they were bearish, right? But the thing is, I'm not super big on this. So, but if you're interpreting it as bullish, I think the history actually shows it as being bearish. Unless if there was a significant break, right? Otherwise, any of this creeping along stuff resulted in it eventually working its way back down. Just getting above it clearly was not a breakout, right? We could get above it, but if it stalled on top of it, it always fell back in. It's definitely not a breakout level unless it's a confirmed breakout, which it's not. So maybe we get that this week. All right. Anthony. I'm trying, man. Trujillo. It's definitely not Trujillo. It's like Trujillo. Trujillo. I don't know. I'm sorry, Anthony. Thank you, my dude. You gifted a blockchain backer membership. I appreciate it, man. Matt Ean says, what is enrollment at opening for BC backer course? It's once I can finish it. It's currently completed with 26 videos and 6.85 hours of content. That's what it's at right now. Trying to get to the finish line. It's like running a marathon, 26 miles, and I'm on mile 19. That's how I feel right now. It's kind of like I'm there. I know the finish line is coming, but I'm hitting a wall. I'm like huffing and puffing and trying to get there. But I haven't gotten to that point where like everybody's cheering me on, handing me cups of water, saying you have 1 mile left. And like that's kind of where I'm at. But I am chugging along, pushing along every day. And the second I get off of here, I'm going to go eat lunch, and then I'm going to go finish this Altcoin video that I've been recording, which is already 48 minutes long after editing. So once that's added, that turns this whole thing into almost 8 hours long at this point. So hopefully soon. I'm hoping to finish it next week, but I can't promise that I will. But I'm hoping to. Porky Pig Pantalones says, Mr. BCB, I have a question. What type of bee makes milk? Loving the community. Happy Friday, dudes. Oh boy. What type of bee makes milk? I hope my wife is in here for this one because I can feel the punchline coming. I can feel the dad joke just swelling, ready to explode of dadness. I don't know. I don't know, Porky Pig. What type of bee does make milk? Oscar says, I need merch for vacay in Cancun. But thank you, Porky Pig, and thank you, Oscar. And Oscar then with the super chat afterwards. What's it say? Fist bump. My dude. Anthony then throws up the hit the like. There we go, guys. We're at 1,075. This is great. Sam says, when Alf season? I don't know. Oh my gosh, Andy. What is this? You guys see what Andy did? Of course you did. It was 4 minutes ago. I'm like way behind. Bro just throws down 20. 20 BCP memberships, man. Oh, geez. Porky Pig. Okay, everybody in the chat, you see that? All right, I gotta behave. I'm an adult. All of these children. All right, Andy Philpott, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. So, man, that puts us at 60. I think that's the record for the second most ever in a day, which, of course, you guys crushed it and did number one last week, where y'all went like 117 or something insane. Cash. Wait, who said that? Sick thing. No. Jeez. Okay, go Gringo. He said, hey, BCB, take a look at total over XRP. Is it about to roll? So this is what we were talking about. Total over XRP. It's sure looking rolly. Your mom says, are memberships commodities or currencies, right? Are they securities? So, okay. Let's take a look at the market again. So it looks like we're cooling off, right? Bitcoin, it caught a little bit of a bid there in the morning as the market was getting ready to open. So was XRP. Now you kind of got a mixed little market. Nothing crazy to the downside, but also nothing crazy to the upside. Bitcoin's up about 75 bucks. NASDAQ stock market, right? This is from when we were talking about this just a little while ago. Something weird going on with futures still that just isn't right. Look at the futures. It says 397 up for the Dow. Wrong. Dow Jones is up 108 points this morning with the NASDAQ up 92 points this morning. Most of the stock market, look at that. We got a lot of green over there still. It's about the same though. Tesla up 5.5%, followed by Ford at 2%. We saw that earlier in the week that Tesla was getting that look of breakout. We caught that right before it happened, that it's looking very reversely that this may be the low for Tesla and it may be in its uptrend. Based on what it was doing, that the measurements of this measured for an ABC correction. And we caught that live saying, hey, that seems like the bottom could be in. I'm not in Tesla. I don't really play in a whole lot of stocks. If you guys know that about me, I think 1% of my net worth is in the stock market. I'm way more of a degen in crypto, and I take on the most volatile asset in the entire world. But I do own some Ford. Will my precious Ford go on and do something maybe? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. As for metals, looks like silver kind of turned itself back around, was negative in the morning. Dollar still sitting about the same. CME Fed watch on the rate hike next week at 72%. So, man, wrapping up kind of the craziest week that we've had in some time. One of the things that did happen this week is that we finally got down to our zone, and then we got hit with two really negative narratives to scare the crud out of the market and leave a lot of confusion in the market. I think those were really optimistic things to see. That price did reach down to within $50 of what we've been looking for. Let's see what the total fall was. We might have exceeded maybe 5,000. 4,700. We got within 50, so it looks pretty good. And the fact that they hit you real hard with Coinbase and with Binance there with the timed manipulative news from the SEC and the corruptive SEC timing their news to occur down here back to back in wrong foot retail. So that was awesome to see by those slime bags, to see them do that at that time. And then, as for crypto, as for XRP, still just in the ultimate battle against that last retracement level with news coming out next week. So we'll see what happens next week with all the things we've been looking at, right? You got some people spreading rumors saying they're getting text messages and messages saying that it's over, it's over, it's over. We're going to find out if any of that is true. We're going to find out if the Hinme emails are coming out next week. It could just be that the SEC delays. We have to always think there's that possibility. I've listened to all the different lawyers out there, right? And retail investors and content creators are always going to pitch the hype and the excitement narrative, which is the victory, settlement, the emails are going to be horrible, or we're going to win, and that we're going to get the emails next week. But when you listen to like the bigger names of like, which is what I try to do, right? Like think of things reasonably and present things in a way like we don't really know like on that. Like, of course there's one narrative we all want. And I understand creating content, focusing on that being the most likely outcome is what people want to hear. But we don't know, right? Like, is the SEC going to delay? What's going to be redacted from the emails? Will even seeing the emails in any way impact the price? Then when the judge does rule, what is going to be in that ruling? Will secondary sales be addressed? Will the lack of a investment contract be the main focus? And if that happens, one thing or another. The thing is, we just got to wait. And next week is as good a week as any. We could hear it. And it's all year long. I've been very much like, I don't think we're going to get it rolling. But now as we're here, I'm definitely in the camp that it could come out any minute. It could come out any minute now. So fingers crossed we all placed our bets properly here. And it goes the right way. And I wouldn't place my bet if I didn't think there was the chance that it would go the right way. So I'm optimistic, but oh boy, let's get through it, man. Let's see. Oscar says, Ator would like for BCB to say hello to Spain. I don't know what that means, bro. Hello, Spain. BCB, can you give a free membership giveaway? Wasn't work like that on YouTube, man. It's just like set, like it's just a thing. I don't have the ability to set freebies. I don't think. And if somebody knows of that, they can let me know. I don't think so. Say hello to Ader. I don't know who Ader is. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. No, I don't think there's free memberships, guys. It's like it's set in tiers. It's set to tiers. I set this thing up years ago and never even talked about it. I don't even talk about that. But then we start the live streams and suddenly you guys start going nuts on them. I'm grateful for them. I'm not promoting them. It's just you guys being wild. Yes, I just said hello to the entire country of Spain. Hello, Spain. Hello, Australia. Ator, Aitor. BCB is ignoring me. Hi, I see you. I'm saying hi. Don't ignore Ator, BCB. All right. We got hooks and pirates. I understand the hooks. Somebody explain the pirates to me. What's going on? XRP community. And then we're wrapping this thing up. Gary Gensler. BCB ignores me, but I'm not sure why. Gary, I talk about you every day. Every day. He says, I'll take that back. Don't be an aider. Oscar says, BCB, you need an old man nap. I know. All my friends know it because I'm whining and complaining to them all the time. I'm like, look, I've only had one day off in like 50 days. I get up at 4 a.m. and I start working. And then I go. But I'm in this marathon and I'm like near the end. And I got to a point where I like hadn't shaved very much. This was like 2 days ago. Beard was all nasty. Hair's long. Dude, I just got the buzzers out and just started going to town. Cleaned it up. Felt like not like a scrub. RJ says, it's not work if you love it. That's the point of it, man. Yeah. Could you imagine going 50 days straight doing something you hated? It's not that. It's that I spend a lot of time doing it. I'm doing it 11, 12, 13 hours a day. My body is just getting beaten down. Oscar says, show the face, BCB. It's all cleaned up now. It's not worth it. You should have seen it when it was all scrubbed out. Like, gosh, you are dirty. Loose Change says, will you be away this summer, BCB? That all depends on this course, getting it out. If I can get this course out in 2 weeks, which is my plan, then I will feel comfortable saying to my family, hey, you know what? Y'all start figuring it out. Let's figure out how we do a 1 week vacation at some point this summer. As of right now, I don't have anything planned, but I do have a plan to make a plan if I can complete this plan that I created 4 months ago and haven't finished yet. But hopefully I get some time with my family to take my kids out. All right, my gosh, here we go. Brandon Hammond throwing it down with 5. And Bread Garlic House as well, 5 memberships. Thank you guys. We're just crushing it today. Shrooms has to go to work. Right on, my dude. Kevin B, can you say hello to the moon? Can I ask the moon if we can go visit? How about that? The Oscar, the real baby Hernandez, says Brandon. Is that the original baby Oscar Hernandez, or is this a different Oscar baby Hernandez? Brandon looking after the bay. Just to be active in chat, I guess. People will pay you membership at some point. I don't know. A Wigman pool. Ack Ground says, I'm at work watching and listening. Gorgeous George. Welcome to Backer, my dude. All right, guys. How's the drumming going, BCB? It's going good. I'm taking a pause. So I'm not doing this season, right? So every season we learn new songs. And we've been doing a lot of rock. And this season for the band is Southern Country. And right now with everything I've been doing here, working these longer hours and everything like that, and Southern Country not really being my jam, I didn't want it to feel like somebody said, you know, it's not work if you love it, right? That was going to feel like work to me and not enjoyable for me. So I'm taking a break for a minute. However, I've hopped on the drum set 3 times this week. I've been jamming some Tay-Tay, crushing it, just unreal. But also, some Papa Roach and Linkin Park and stuff like that too. And so those are it's pretty fun to play the stuff that I know how to play, and then to like pull up the drum score of other songs on YouTube and just watch other people play while the drum score is going across the bottom, and you can just kind of sit there and rock to it at the same time. I mean, I suck, right? But it's fun. And I've got the basics down to be able to do that kind of stuff. So that's pretty fun. And that's more of what I've been doing this past week, is just playing kind of songs I enjoy and I've never tried before, and just watching the drum score while someone else is playing on YouTube and trying to play along with them. BC Adventurer says, what kind of drum kit are you using to practice? I'm thinking about getting one of those electric ones. Yeah, I use an electric one. I can't remember what I have. It was like $1,000. There's all different levels of them, from lower end to higher end. I can't even think of the brand name right now. Anywhere from lower end to higher end. It is not a high end, but it's not a low end. But I do think I've blown out a little bit of the snare. And I noticed that when I was playing just yesterday. I got to hit the snare real hard. And it sounds like, I don't recall when I'd hit the rim that the snare would sound so loud, but right now the snare sounds real loud when I hit the rim, and it doesn't sound very loud when I actually hit the head. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. I just need to take it apart and look at it. Brandon Hammond says, I'm literally not even listening to BCB anymore. I just read the chats. Hey, what about me? Hey, guys, I'm here. All right. On that note, I am wrapping it up. How far into this are we? We're an hour and 51 minutes. Viewership has fallen off a cliff because I'm just being a goofball at this point, and that's well-deserved. Wait, let me get you real quick. Eden Sedek says, keep rocking, BC Backer. High fives. I appreciate your work very much. Oh, that's very kind, Eden. Thank you very much for writing. All right, guys. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. If we get a breakout here for XRP to the upside, you can bet you'll be hearing from me again this weekend. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend. As the internet people say, go touch some grass. What does that mean? It means go take a walk. Go get your fishing pole. Go get the line wet. See if you can snag a fish. Go barbecue. Go swim in a pool. Go play catch with your kid. Go do something. And then when we come back here, we'll deal with all the chaos of Limp Hand Gary, FOMC, Jerome Powell, and all this Congress stuff next week. Otherwise, go have fun with your kids. Go live your life. And we'll be back. This has been a wild week. We could all use a break because it won't stop next week. It'll be more wild next week. So, all right. That's it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in so much. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for hanging out and chatting in the chat and just chatting with each other, not even needing me, it seems like. I'm special. All right. Thank you, guys. That's it for this one. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.